Thank you, Adam, and hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's an exciting week for Hyliion. We are at the ACT Expo in Long Beach, California, one of the largest trade shows in the industry. We have a number of Hypertruck ERX and hybrid trucks on display so that fleets, suppliers, investors, and analysts can get a look at our technology. We are also hosting ride-along events at the Expo for those interested in getting to experience the Hypertruck ERX firsthand. Now shifting into some updates on Hyliion. The trucking industry is increasingly recognizing Hyliion's potential to revolutionize the market for Class 8 semi-trucks, as reflected in our initial sales and positive stakeholder feedback. Electrification is happening, but we are hearing from fleets about the challenges they encounter in the transition to plug-in technology. However, we are pleased to hear that the Hypertruck ERX relieves most of those concerns, specifically around range anxiety, infrastructure, and the cost of electricity. Q1 was another successful and productive quarter for Hyliion. The recent expansion of our sales force has paid immediate dividends as we execute upon our plans. In the first quarter, we secured 170 orders for production slots of our Hypertruck ERX and have received nearly 2,000 units in reservations to date. We continued our deployment efforts for our hybrid powertrain system and are beginning to see more momentum in our sales. Shifting to some updates on the Hypertruck ERX development. First, we are happy to share that we are on track with our previously communicated timeline in order to bring this fully electric solution into production in late 2023. We have the initial production slots already committed, and we continue to see strong interest from fleets. They are seeing our solution as the practical choice for line haul applications of up to 1,000 miles between refueling stops. That compares with current EV plug-in solutions that can only travel about 100 to 200 miles per charge. Moreover, the ERX leverages the natural gas infrastructure of about 700 stations already in place in North America. Turning to slide 5, you can see that we continue to make progress with our development milestones. In the first quarter, we completed our initial vehicle build of trucks that we will use for design verification. This build leverages the performance data and invaluable stakeholder feedback from our initial demo units. I am pleased to announce that we are already underway building more units. As previously discussed, we expect to build at least 10 more units to further test before we begin product validation. Our multi-phase development program timeline includes design verification and product validation testing, inclusive of summer and winter seasons, and the accumulation of up to 1 million test miles prior to production. The initial in-field testing will be done in controlled fleet trials later this year, which will allow us to closely monitor truck performance. Looking ahead, we plan to build at least 20 more units in the first half of 2023 for the completion of product validation and for continued fleet trials. During this time, we will seek final certification from CARB, EPA, and NHTSA. This will put us on track for commencing production in late 2023. As we head into production, one of the important factors we are focusing on is making sure our electric vehicle can assist with obtaining CARB-mandated credits for both the fleets and the OEMs. On previous earnings calls, we have mentioned how our launch Hypertruck ERX will qualify for 75% of a ZEV credit under the CARB Advanced Clean Truck ruling. This mandate focuses on the OEMs and what percentage of the vehicles they ship need to be ZEV qualifying. This past quarter, CARB released draft language for a new mandate called Advanced Clean Fleet, or ACF, with a goal of achieving a zero-emission truck and bus fleet in California by 2045. This initiative actually puts requirements on the fleets around what vehicles they can purchase. I am happy to share that as the mandate is currently written, Hyliion's Hypertruck ERX will qualify for full credits for the fleet. We see this as an instrumental advantage for generating demand for our product, as fleets would also be mandated to adopt technology like ours. As I mentioned earlier, we have secured orders for early production slots for a total of 170 units of the Hypertruck ERX, which is inclusive of the 100 units we mentioned on our last earnings call. This reflects not only our R&D achievements, but also the success of our ongoing ride and drive events. In addition to the orders, we have received reservations for nearly 2,000 units to date. These orders and reservations remain subject to the finalization of commercial terms, but all of the orders are backed by deposits. In February, we secured a 50-unit order from Greenpath Logistics, one of our Hypertruck Innovation Council members and a customer of our hybrid product. Greenpath is a very unique fleet as they only operate alternative fuel vehicles and ship for some of the largest logistics companies, including Amazon, UPS, and the United States Postal Service. Greenpath Logistics will be among the first to deploy Hypertruck ERX units in controlled fleet trials later this year. In March, Monet Transport joined in on placing orders to secure production slots. Monet, which currently operates our hybrid product in their fleet, had also previously placed a 40-unit reservation for the Hypertruck ERX. After their ride and drive experience, though, they converted 20 of those 40 reservations into orders to secure production slots. Based in Laredo, Texas, Monet is a dedicated provider servicing the 48 contiguous states and an early adopter of green technology. We want to share some additional color on the feedback we received from fleets at our ride and drive events. Overall, it is further validated that fleets are in need of a solution like the Hypertruck ERX that can offer a low cost of operation, leverage existing CNG stations, and ultimately offer a far superior emissions benefit. We expect to increase our order count as we near production, while at the same time building a backlog of reservations, which reflect how our customers recognize the capabilities and value proposition of our technology. Now shifting to some updates on our hybrid product. Hyliion's hybrid product provides a great cost-effective entry solution for customers who want a greener alternative now, but may not be ready to commit to a fully electric powertrain. Over the first quarter, we continued to ship more units to fleets and have booked additional revenue. We have evolved our sales strategy to target use cases with matching performance needs to our hybrid solution. Areas with hilly terrain that need additional power assist are seeing strong results with our solution installed. We continue to see an influx of interest with fleets who want to embark on a greener path forward and see our hybrid solution as a positive step in their ESG efforts. We view these customers as a strong potential not only for our hybrid solution, but ultimately as long-term Hyliion customers as they evolve and invest more meaningfully in electrification. On the manufacturing side, persistent and global supply disruptions are continuing to lengthen delivery times, but we continue to work closely with our partners to secure the parts we need to fulfill these orders. With our current order book and sales pipeline, we remain confident in achieving our sales targets for 2022. Looking ahead, we are continuously assessing opportunities to create shareholder value. While the majority of our organization is focused on commercializing our current product roadmap, we see opportunities to expand our offerings into new products and adjacencies. We have designed our Hypertruck product platform to be generator agnostic. Today, we utilize natural gas. When the time is right, we will transition into hydrogen. We've showcased a three-stage approach. It starts with our current natural gas engine, then shifts to a fuel-agnostic generator that can run on both natural gas and hydrogen, and eventually moves into a hydrogen fuel cell solution. Additionally, our proprietary software solutions are a primary competitive differentiator and have the potential to become new products and generate new revenue streams. For now, of course, our primary focus continues to be getting our first Hypertruck ERX units on the road as quickly and safely as possible. We continue to move aggressively with our commercialization and business development plans to build on our recent run of success. Moreover, 2022 should be an instrumental year for our product development and continued product shipments as we evolve our technology solutions to address the transportation sector's environmental impact. With that, I will turn the call over to Sherry.
Thank you, Thomas, and good morning, everyone. I will now review our first quarter financial highlights. As Thomas mentioned, we continue to recognize revenue on our hybrid powertrain solution, which totaled $340,000 in Q1 and represents a 70% increase in revenue versus prior quarter. At the same time, we are investing in R&D to support our product development roadmap. In Q1, R&D spend was $15.8 million, down $1.6 million sequentially, and up $6.5 million year over year. SG&A spend, which included the expansion of key infrastructure for our commercialization initiatives and operations, was $9.8 million in the first quarter, up $0.6 million sequentially, and up $2.4 million year over year. Operating expenses for Q1 totaled $25.6 million, compared with $16.7 million in the year-ago period, as our product development and company expansion gained momentum. Overall, Hyliion reported a net loss from operations of $27.4 million for the first quarter, compared with a net loss from operations of $29.1 million in Q4 and a net loss from operations of $16.7 million in Q1 of 2021. Turning to the balance sheet, we ended the first quarter with over $527 million available to fund our commercialization plans for both the hybrid and the Hypertruck ERX. This figure includes $227.1 million in cash and cash equivalents, $134.2 million in short-term investments, and $166 million in long-term investments. Our short-term and long-term investments are high-quality credit instruments with no maturities beyond 36 months and a weighted average maturity of 13 months across our portfolio. Our long-term investments are designed to preserve capital while providing liquidity to meet the company's operating requirements. Turning now to our outlook. As discussed on our last earnings call, for full year 2022, we reiterate our revenue guidance in the range of $2 million to $3 million in hybrid sales. The actual amount of revenue recognized will depend on the number of units we sell and the mix of retrofit versus new installations. We still expect full year operating expenses to be between $135 million and $145 million, driven primarily by an increase in R&D costs to support commercialization of the Hypertruck ERX. Lastly, we expect to remain well capitalized through the key development milestones we discussed on today's call and outlined in today's presentation. With that, I'll turn it back to Thomas for a few closing remarks.
Thanks, Sherry. I'd like to leave you with 5 key thoughts. First, the time for electrification is now. The electrification of the commercial vehicle industry is at an inflection point, and early adopters of our technology recognize Hyliion's potential to transform the industry. Second, our market is large and growing. Based on ACT's research estimates, there are 8 million Class 8 commercial vehicles currently in operation globally. In addition, ACT Research estimates that the active Class 8 commercial vehicle population will grow by approximately 4.5% annually from 2022 to 2025. Third, our solution is innovative yet practical. We leverage existing infrastructure, offer a lower cost of operation, and qualify for credits today, both for the OEMs and for the fleets. And we do all this while bringing forward a net negative capable emission solution. Fourth, drivers and fleets want our solution. Feedback at our Ride and Drive events has been overwhelmingly positive. Fleets see the advantages of having a 1,000-mile range truck that can refuel in about 10 to 15 minutes, and they have been impressed with how smooth and quiet our vehicle is. They have even expressed they see it as a way to better retain drivers. And finally, our long-term growth strategy is a logical approach on how to evolve into a hydrogen-based future. We can leverage what is available today to deliver a superior powertrain solution and evolve that over time into a hydrogen-powered range extender. Because of all these reasons, we are very bullish on our future. With that, we will open the call to Q&A. Operator, please go ahead.